Today we're on the Feather River trolling for some stripers. We're also going to be doing a few other methods. We'll be throwing some swim baits, possibly jigging. But we got to locate them first, so we fish a lot of the sandbars, the drop-offs in the sandbars. That's where those stripers typically like to hold. So right now we're just trying to locate them. Today we're going to start off using a shallow running Yozuri. Notice it's got the small bill on there. We don't want it to dive too deep into the bottom. We're going to be fishing water that's mostly anywhere from 6 to 8 feet deep. So these dive the perfect depth. If we wanted to go a little bit deeper, we'd use the deep divers. But this right here has really good action for what the stripers like. They like the rattles and they like you know, the movement of this lure. So when they hit it really hard. They hit it like a freight train going the opposite direction. So it's just basically let it out and hold on. But probably the most important thing to do with one of these lures, almost any lure that you use, is make sure they're tuned. And what I mean by tuned is running correctly, side to side evenly. If it's running to the left or to the right more than another direction, what happens is your lure doesn't get to the bottom. And if your lure doesn't get to the bottom, you don't have a chance of catching a fish. Because what it does is if it runs to the left too much or runs to the right too much, it actually flips up towards the top. And these fish, we need them, you know, we catch them on the bottom. So we need this lure on the bottom. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check it when I get going to the trolling speed to make sure it's running right. And if you look here at the lure, you can actually see it moving here in the water. Here we go. If you can see that lure moving side to side at a good speed here. You can see it moving right there. It's running good, it's staying down. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to let this lure out. We're in 5 feet of water, so I'm going to let it out about 85 feet right now to start with. I've got a line counter on here that tells me where we're at. It's counting out right now at 85. Notice I got my thumb on the spool so it doesn't backlash. Going 85 and lock it. Rod tip's vibrating good. Just what we want to see right now. You see that rod tip working just like that. And we'll see what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this one. That one's running really good too. Feet. And I'm just going to put this one in the rod holder. Just like that. Fish on, all right. All right, we just found our first striper here. We've only been in the water for about a minute. It's not a big fish, but it's our first one of the morning. Good start. You can tell it's a baby, it's not taking out much line, but I'll show you what they look like here in just a second. And there it is. Right, so I'm just gonna, right now this fish is just a little small. He's under 18 inches, so we're gonna have to throw him back. But notice he grabbed the back hook here. Gotta be real careful that you don't get a hook in you. Pull it out just like that, and it's a nice looking healthy striper. A little small though, we're gonna throw him back, let him get a little bigger. And there he goes. Notice he took our worm, so we're going to add another worm tail onto here. Everything else looks good, the hooks are good, so we're going to put it back out in the water and see if we can't get another one. So right now we were just trolling downstream. trying to cover a lot of water, trying to find the, school of fish. This is not a large fish by any means. Everything else looks good, the hooks are good. So we're gonna put it back out in the water and see if we can't get another one. So right now, we were just trolling downstream, trying to cover a lot of water, trying to find the, school of fish. This is not a large fish by any means, but where there's one stripe, there's usually more. So we're gonna turn around here in a minute and go through again and see if I can't locate a few more stripers. This is a little baby. We're gonna let this guy grow up and get a little bigger so we can catch him in the years to come. Another thing is you gotta be real careful when you go to grab this lure. You see how they like to shake? I have taken many hooks out of many hands from people getting too anxious and just grabbing it. Just like that, you check all your stuff and ready to go again. So I'm going to turn around here in just a second. We're going to go back through this and see if there's not a few more fish right there. Our speed's really important too, how fast we're going. I use GPS here to watch my speed, but we also are dealing with current. Sometimes we deal with tide, sometimes we deal with current. Right now there's no tides where we're at, but there's current. So we're actually going against it right now, so we got to watch, that. We got to factor that into how fast we're trolling. So typically with the current we have, we're going anywhere from about 2.8 to about 3.5 miles an hour. When we're going downstream, I try to always stay under 5 miles an hour. Typically those stripers don't like it over 5, but there are a few instances where they will hit it a little faster than that. Fish on. He's charging the boat here. And here we go. Here's another striper. A little undersized, but good start for the morning here. We're going to go for another one, so I'm just going to release him real quick, just like that, just to make sure this is all looking good. Put this in the water again, and I'm going to tune it. It's running good. That feels like a little bit better fish there. Give him a little bit more of a tug here. Still don't think he's the size we're looking for yet. It's probably a keeper. So we caught him in about 6 feet of water. He's coming over. Bring him back over here. Oh yeah, he's definitely a keeper. There's a nice keeper right there. Nice healthy looking fish. I'm going to grab my pliers and I'm going to throw them back in. stripers, they actually come in from the ocean and in the delta. That's where they live most of their life, and then they come up the rivers to spawn. Typically what they do when they spawn is they'll come up into either the feather, the sac, occasionally the American, but depending on the flows, you know, one year we'll have better fishing on the feather, another year better fishing on the sac. And actually come in from the ocean and in the delta. That's where they live most of their life, and then they come up the rivers to spawn. Typically what they do when they spawn is they'll come up into either the feather, the sac, occasionally the American, but depending on the flows, you know, one year we'll have better fishing on the feather, another year better fishing on the sac. And they just come up, they'll do their spawning, they spawn up on top. A lot of people think when they see them spawning, you know, they're up on the top of the water, they think you can catch them with top water, but it's really tough when they start spawning. But before they start spawning, you can catch them on a little bit of top water, but most of it's all deep down towards the bottom. There's some right there. Some more. See them right there? You can see them on the green screen and the white screen. Now the situation where we're in is some of these fish were in a little bit deeper water than our lure could get to. So we're going to change lures right now. We're going to go to one that dives a little bit deeper. It's got a little bit bigger bill on it. And it's kind of an intermediate diver. And we're going to see if we can't get those fish. So what I'm going to do right now again is I'm going to tune it, make sure it's running right. And we're going to go back down, troll back down and see if we can't get those fish that I was marking on the screen. Fish on! Okay, we got another small one. Not what we're looking for yet, guys, but they will come. We're on another sandbar here. It was just starting to come up when this guy hit. He smacked it. Little guy. Doesn't matter if they're a pound and a half or 25 pounds, they all hit the same. They hit like freight trains going the opposite direction. They hit really good. They want to kill this thing, and they sure try. Yeah, he took it down good. And there it goes. This is a good area right here, guys. I expect to catch one in here. We got a nice little sandbar that's gonna come up real quick, and it'll hold a lot of fish in here at times. And with the water dropping like it did overnight, I got a feeling there's gonna be a few fish. Just like I said, I got a feeling there's going to be a few fish in here. Another schoolie. We want to catch one today that can eat one of these schoolies. He might be another keeper though. We'll find out. Yeah, so the regulations for stripers is they've got to be over 18 inches, and we can keep 2 a day. And typically I like to have everybody throw anything that's over 10 pounds back, because typically anything over 10 pounds, they're usually female. And we need those females to lay their eggs and produce more. Now that we don't have fishing game helping us out anymore with raising stripers. We need to be throwing those big females back. That's a nice, these are perfect eating size anyway, these 19, 20-inch fish. And there it is, right there.
What are we using again?
We're using a Yozuri. 5 1/4 inch, shallow runner. Look at that, nice little fish. There we go. Feather River striper. They're working good. Feel them working. Something's gonna pop here in a second. There's a couple right there. There they are right there. They're sitting right at the top of this. If you watch the finder, it's gonna come. Fish on. There they were, and there they are. Fish on. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh, double, double. There they are. Ooh, both two good fish on, guys. That one's a good one too. You can just tell I was taking. All right. See, they were sitting right at the top of this bar. If you look, ooh, yeah, this is taking some good line here. You can actually see the bottom here. If you look out down right there, you can see the bottom come up right there. See the bottom? See how shallow it is right there? Look at the bottom, you can see it right here.
Wow.
We're right on the bar. And that's where these fish are at.
So they're sitting right on the edge of the bar.
They're sitting right on the drop of the bar. Look at my fish finder here, we're in 2 feet of water. And we're fishing down into 7 feet, 6, 7 feet where those fish were holding.
So you really don't have to go very deep then.
You just gotta be close to the bottom.
Oh, this looks like a nice one. Here, look at that.
I'm gonna get this one, and this one's a little bigger. This one's a decent sized fish here.
Right.
This one's what we've been looking for today. We've been looking for something just like this.
Double hitter, guys. Look at that. Beautiful. Trolling. Feather River. Now, Bob, these guys made their way all the way from the ocean?
Ocean and the Delta, yes. They came all the way in. They're gonna do their spawning. Gonna do their spawning, and then they will go back down. You know, there'll be a few resident fish that stay in, but most of them will turn around and go back to spawn another year.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay. We were trolling looking for a big school of fish, and now we found a real big school of fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to motor around these fish so we don't spook them, and we're going to go back and we're going to cast these swim baits right here for them. And the whole key with these swim baits is you cast it out to the side of the boat, you let it sink for about 5 seconds, and then you start reeling it in. You don't have to do much twitching or anything because this tail is going to do all the work for you right here. You feel it stop, you're going to set the hook and you're going to pop it good. Okay? If you miss them, continue reeling. The mistake that most people make with these right here is they reel them too fast. Okay? These stripers are on the bottom. So if you're way above them, you don't have a chance of catching them. You need to be in that strike zone. That strike zone is in front of their face. The more you have in front of their face, the more you're going to catch. Okay? So what I like to tell everybody is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then start reeling. Just like this. And they'll pop it. If you start bouncing the bottom, reel just a little bit faster. But you want to stay off the bottom just a hair. Now, if you look upriver right here, you can see the sandbar. See how the sandbars, this with the watercolor, is perfect. We don't need anything else.
Very good.
So if you look at the fish finder right here, we're at 3.7 feet. And I'm trying to stay off these fish, so I'm gonna come. They're gonna be hanging all that whole edge all the way up. So I'm gonna get my electric trolling motor ready.
Oh, Bob, you know, what's
But,
to get it down to the bottom?
To get it down there, yeah.
Okay. So the idea is to try and stay as low as you can?
Yeah, you wanna keep it, you don't wanna hold your rod tip way out of the strike zone. You wanna hold it, you know, about below your eye level.
Very good.
So you can set the hook.
Is there a preference on a swim bait that you use?
What was that?
Is there a preference on swim bait that you use?
You know, I just like to have a good movement on the tail. The tail is the important part, the action. So
Very nice.
sometimes I'll use different colors, different sizes, but these fish right now, white this, with the watercolor is perfect. We don't need anything else.
Very good.
So if you look at the fish finder right here, we're at 3.7 feet. And I'm trying to stay off these fish, so I'm going to come up on the top of this sandbar and then slide us over. That right there is enough to jig. You can see them on both screens right there. That's a lot of fish underneath us right there, guys. That's what we're looking for to jig or to throw a swim bait. So I'm going to grab a swim bait real quick and watch this. So I'm just going to throw it out. Let me get it all ready. And watch this. I'm gonna throw it right back through those fish. I'm gonna let it sink for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look at them all right here. Boy, they're absolutely loaded. We could jig these fish in 5 feet of water if we wanted to. Okay, someone's gonna hit me here. Man, they're thick in here. No one wants to hit me yet. Sometimes they'll hit it all the way back to the back of the boat. Boy, they are thick, thick. Oh, he hit it right there. Oh, he just came undone. Wow, I saw him hit. That was incredible. I love it when you can see him hit, guys. That is fun. Boy, he decided at the last second he wanted it. So we got fish here underneath us still. Lots of fish. They're loaded in here. So we're gonna look at them. They're still underneath us. Ooh, got him. That one I missed, I got to see him. He was probably 7 or 8 pounds. He was a nice one. This one right here is still a nice one too. This one too. Okay, look at that. Tell the swim bait's caught a lot of fish. It's pretty beat up, but you know what? Still catching them, so we're gonna throw it back out. So we're gonna go back up. You can kind of see where it funnels down and narrows down. That's what I was talking about today. Finding areas that it necks down. So that sandbar comes all the way across and it gets like a V. And the tighter in the V, the more fish it's holding right now. So the higher